Hello everyone, I'm Stanley Mirzikowski, the owner of C2D System House for more than 55 years. Thank you to come at this webinar to watch our solutions built on secure open source software. At C2D we provide professional services about a complete ecosystem based on European software for your digital sovereignty. We offer high availability platforms for server and VDI infrastructure on-premise and your own data center. As an important part of this, we will present you today the hypervisor XCP-ng and its management software, Xen Orchestra. To do that, I am proud to invite Oliver, the CEO of Vates. Oliver, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sunny. Hello, everyone. I'm Oliver. I will present you today XCP-ng, which is a virtualization platform. So first thing first, I'm myself the co-founder and the CEO of Vates, a French company doing open source solution on virtualization market. I'm myself a former system administrator, and I've started multiple projects like Xen Orchestra and XCP-ng. I will talk about them just after that. If you want to access the slides, they're available also on the website you can see on the screen. So what about virtualization? So I'm pretty sure everyone heard about it. Almost every one of you knows what virtualization, but beyond that, some stuff that you might not realize, for example, is virtualization is almost everywhere. It's a critical component in the stack, as you can see here. I mean by that on top of the hardware, everyone is using virtualization. I mean, both in the cloud, for example, at AWS, even when you are using Kubernetes, it's very likely that your cloud provider is using virtualization in the backend. It's even used in the edge computing, etc., etc. So virtualization is not just VMware or Hyper-V, it's everywhere. But why it's everywhere? So the usual reasons didn't change in the last 10, 15 years. Virtualization is providing flexibility through the hardware abstraction. So it means that's easy to maintain. If you want to change the hardware, there is no differences to make, you can run your virtual machine regardless the kind of server you are running. It helps to consolidate your host, so there is a lower TCO, and also it's not exclusive in the way that you can still work with virtualization in the lower layer, but in It's not usually exclusive with the latest technology you might have heard about. What's also important with virtualization and why it succeeds a lot is isolation. So it allows you to have isolation between virtual machines, which is great in terms of security, but also you can go forward than just isolation. You can also analyze the virtual machine memory in live without any problem. So that's very interesting in the security point of view. So it's very likely that everyone is relying on virtualization at some point, but what does it mean in the real world? It means that the impact of virtualization is huge, and you might have some, let's say, for example, trust issues, because it's a kind of a black box. For example, if you are using some products like VMware or Hyper-V, you don't have any control on what's going on there inside the virtualization platform. So this black box design needs some trust on your side, because you don't know what's going on, and everything is going through this stack because it's a lower component of the stack. So it matters a lot if you want to have trust. Maybe it might be great to have something where you can know what's really going on. You have obviously the usual problems like the vendor lock-in or potential security issues. You might heard about, the meltdown and all the Intel CPU issues that also impacted cloud provider, but also VMware, Hyper-V, whatever. And what about the support also? So this is one part of the potential problem you might have with the virtualization platform. And sadly not the only ones, because you also have a fear to lose control on this crucial component of your stack. I mean, it's really hard if you have specific requirements to go to the big vendors and say, I'd like to have this and that, because mainly they don't care about that. So another point which is also really important is how complicated it is. I mean, just to understand what product is doing why, how it works, and what kind of product you need even to buy to have something that just cover your requirements. There is a huge segmentation of the products. The licensing is crazy. You need days literally to understand how licensing is working, and it's also expensive. You have also tons of different vendors connecting to your platform, and then you need to understand how they're working globally. So this is kind of hard, to master all those aspects of virtualization. So how to solve those problems? So I would say the ingredients that you might need to solve those problems are multiple. The first one is you need to have trust on the platform that you are using, and that's really critical. You need also to have a kind of control on it to understand what's going on, what's happening, and what's coming in the future. You need also to be able to grow your own requirements. If let's say tomorrow you need more power, you need more machines, or through directly yourself you're purchasing more machines, or going through a third-party integrator, or being hosted. If you want to grow, you don't want to think about the potential costs needed to do that, maybe the license restriction, if you need some features, etc. You will be blocked in your growth, and that's not good. So you need something where there's no obstacle to grow your activity as you wish. And finally, the confidence on the product future. I mean by that, that the product will be there, it's backed by a lot of people, a community, or something like that. So how to achieve all those ingredients, how to do that? So that's why we built XCP-ng and Xen Orchestra. So first, what's XCP-ng? So XCP-ng is the virtualization platform. It's, I would say, turnkey. It means by you just download, install, and it works. It's also fully open source, which is really important. We'll see that just after that. And it's not built from nowhere. It was built by using existing components in the way that, using major components that are already working. For example, Xen, the core engine, is used by, for example, AWS in their cloud. So we took the most, I would say, advanced and capable components to build this platform. Xen Orchestra on itself is, let's say, management platform that you plug on top of XCP-ng, and by doing that, you can have a coherent way to manage your whole infrastructure with one central UI. So you access it through your web browser, but you can also do some backups and have security features with that, like audit log or delegate some VMs to some external people, whatever. So to give you an idea, because it's pretty theoretical for you now, so let's go more in something that everyone can understand. And for that, usually we are comparing with VMware products, because everyone is knowing VMware product. So on this chart, you can see a bit more clearly how those components are related, the way that we compare them with VMware products. So basically, ESXi can be compared to XCP-ng. You download it, you install it on your hardware like you do with ESXi. vCenter on the VMware side can be compared to Xen Orchestra. This is a central console that you might use to make your management and creating the network, the storage, or whatever you need. And finally, because Xen Orchestra is also doing, I would say, somehow advanced backup capabilities, you can compare it partly to Vim in the way that if you are using both XCP-ng and Xen Orchestra, you have the whole stack, which is open source. So how does this stack compare, and I'm in the way that it could solve your previous issue we've seen a few slides before? So the first one is trust. By that, XCP-ng and Xen Orchestra are both open source. It means that everything it's done with the community, ourselves, and other company, bringing all the code together on a public repository on GitHub, for example. And this allows you and everyone else to contribute, but also to have trust on what's done there, because it's done publicly. We can't hide backdoors or things like that. It's completely open. We also have a strong focus on security. To give you some examples, security is not just technical solution, but security is also a technical solution, like for example having core scheduling, but that's not just it. You also have organizational security aspects, like having a great response team for security incident and a workflow to cover all new security flows that could be discovered. And we will have security flows because even it's going from the hardware, so at some point you need to have a great workflow to deal with them. And we also have in security, to enhance the global security of the platform, that's great to display the security features directly into the UI, so it will be easy for the end user to enable them, or we can make the choice to enable them by default for some of them. So this is increasing the security of the platform. Also, we don't have any vendor or features locking, because I mean, you can go with support with us, but obviously, because it's open source, if you have someone doing support for yourself or outside that, you are not blocked. And also, our business model is pretty simple. It's entirely based on support. It means there is no feature restriction. You can use the product without any limits. You can deploy it first on all your machines and use it right now, today or tomorrow, without having to pay anything. But obviously, if you are running into production, you want to be backed by a team of experts. So we are the main contributors. It means that we are able to do that kind of assistance. But even before going into production, we can assist you to set up the whole thing correctly, maybe to build a proof of concept or something like that before even having a support contract. So our goal is really to let you use the product the best way you want, the best way you can, without having any blocker to achieve your objectives. So it could be used for a brand new project, or if you want to migrate from, I don't know, Hyper-V or VMware to XCP-ng, there's no problem. We are here to assist if you need that. What about control? Control is all about having a full stack solution. So we have both, the virtualization platform and the management platform on top of it. So that's really important. But you also need to see how the project is behaving. So because there's a great community online, our roadmap is entirely public. And also the way we work with you or partners, we work in a way that it's more a partnership relationship in general. For example, as I said, when we said we are here to help you to bring a new project to life directly on machines, then we will work with you to achieve that. So thanks to that, we could be flexible. If you have some specific requirements, because we have the full control on the platform, then it means we can, add whatever you need inside it. And obviously, because it's open source, everyone will also enjoy the new feature. The last thing about control is sovereignty. It means because the company is based in France and we are doing research in France and the European Union, it means that there's control on what we can do, security, etc., controlled by the same rules in the European Union. So it means we are following the same market rules, but also security rules together without having any risk from foreign country or zone or whatever. An important point is to be able to grow without obstacles. It means that, as I said, it's easy to test. You can test it, deploy it right now, even use it in production without support. If you want to take the risk, it's okay. It's up to you to decide. So you keep the control on that. There is no paywall, no license activation, no complicated process. So you can really focus on what matters to you, what you really need to use from the platform. We are also offering a documentation. So if you want to start by yourself, you can do that. And also this documentation is open source too, so you can bring more content into that if you want to do so. We also have pending training and certification programs, and we are working with local integrators. So for example, C2D here in Luxembourg is here to help you if you have questions regarding this. And finally, confidence. As I say, we work in the European Union level. We also secured some research grants last year from the French state, helping us to bring innovation on the platform, especially on the security side of things, which is more and more important nowadays. And we are completely focused on virtualization. I mean, we are a company made to build that, so that's why we are really specialists against maybe bigger companies, spreading in more diverse things. We are really focused on virtualization. And with that said, it's not just we are focused on, but we are working with partners, because we strongly believe working together with some specialists, on each area, for example, in storage, in hardware, in edge computing, network, etc. We are bringing together our forces to still finding the right solution that you might need. So we are not alone in this world. We still also have a community, but beyond the community of the product, we also have a lot of partners in that ecosystem. And finally, what's great about it, and I tell it already twice, but I think that's really important to emphasize on that, that's really easy to use. So if you want to try yourself, you can do it nowadays, download it, install it on your servers, and start to learn how it works, etc. But obviously, if you want to have people do that for you, you can also contact your integrators or even contact us directly if you want to work with us directly. It's completely up to you. You have the choice. And that's it. So now it will be question. Thanks a lot for listening and see you. Bye-bye.